welcome to another Soccer Down Here 1v1 as part of our virtual brewery tour. Scott Flood, the Flood Project, has booked us a tour of breweries. Unfortunately, things happened, and we weren't able to actually get out and drink some beer with folks, so we're catching up with folks now. We'll drink some beer with folks and talk soccer here very soon in person. But today, it's Todd DiMatteo of Good Word Brewing. Todd, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for taking the time. Things have got to be a little crazy right now as Georgia starts to edge back to opening things up, and you're starting to get more people, out and wanting to do things. Kind of where do you guys stand in your operations right now?
Yeah, I mean, I as a father of three little girls, I definitely know that being cooped up is not easy, and the urge to want to get back out in the world, however it may look now, is definitely on me and my wife for sure. But for Good Word, we're not there quite yet. So we're still doing our to-go food and beer for now, and it's been doing pretty good. But the state, like you said, has been kind of opening things back up over the last week and a half or so. And up until Cinco was like pretty steady for us, and then we had 3 very sleepy days, to be completely honest with you, and it was a little scary. But then the weekend finished a little strong for the to-go sales. So I don't know. I mean, we had an internal talk, me and my partner Ryan Skinner, and our chef and GM, about when we would start the conversation to reopen, and we were kind of saying that it would be sometime in June, but I don't know. I think that is a moving target, to be completely honest with you. We definitely need to have sales to remain viable no matter what the status is. But, we're not going to trade people's safety, whether they be our own staff or ourselves and or our guests. So I don't know, man. We're just taking it step by step, and, we're trying to be as safe and as precautious as we can, serving people. We've changed our patio setup. We've got tape so people kind of know where to stand. And I don't know, I guess people are a little divided on like kind of what they think and how they feel about this whole thing. Cause I'm actually sitting at one of our booths right now looking out our windows on Main Street. And I can tell you there's a lot more cars on the road right now than there were a few days ago, and especially a week or week and a half ago. So I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I got, I don't know, a little shell shock. This is probably about a month ago now, I think. Mm-hmm. My wife does most of the shopping for our household. And in my job, I'm one of the owners, but I'm also the brewer here at Good Word. So I'm wearing gloves and a full face shield. Gloves all the time, pretty much, disposable gloves. And then a face shield, I'd say 25% of the time that I'm working. So wearing mask and gloves isn't super unique for me and for a lot of people in my field. But I went to the grocery store for the first time in a long time, and like I said, this was around a month ago, and it was surreal to see all these masks on people. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then I realized, hey, I don't have a mask on. And so now I'm like, all right, I got to be super cautious too, because it's not like, we all want to be safe and keep germs away, but also in case someone were to be walking around with it, you need to keep your face covered for other people's safety as well. And I don't know, it's something I don't take for granted. And like I said, we've tried to do our best here at Good Word to keep the folks on the kitchen line and the front of the house stacks. We only run with a pretty limited crew. There's usually 2 to 3 people at best in the kitchen, and then pretty much the same in front of the house. But we have it kind of devised where you can either order online or call us, and then we bring it to our middle window on the patio. But it's challenging. Like, I'm looking next door at our neighbors, Nacho Daddy, and those guys have decided to open back up, and they've got a couple tables outside. And I saw the server come over to the table in a mask, and I was like, man, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like that's how we serve people. Like that's how we have to do it for now. But I don't know. I don't know a good way to come back on and for people to be relaxed and at ease. But I don't know, we're trying to be creative, and there's, again, no judgment on those guys for doing what they have to do. They need to try to stay viable, as do us here. But I don't know. I think we're still trying to figure that out, man, to be honest with you.
This is
And as
the
far
conversation we've had on the soccer side and just in general sports, you know? I mean, it's that balance of you got to get back to action. You got to get open. Revenue is an important thing, obviously, and
yeah,
you've also got to balance safety with that. And there's no blueprint. You know, there's not a book to pull out of last time this happened. There's not a precedent, and it's a tough balance. You know, the sports world is dealing with this too. We've got MLS teams now back training individually, and it's strange, you know, when the club posts pictures of players showing up to training in gloves and masks and, you know, getting their temperature checked. It's a little jarring.
it is. I'm sure. You know. Yeah, it's definitely strange times. I've been doing a little home project, and so I've made, you know how it is. You start one small task at your house, and then you've gone to Home Depot 20 times in less than a week. So I've been waiting in line to get inside several different times, and it's kind of surreal. You know, and here in the hospitality industry, you know, one of the things I would always tell folks, I've been in this industry for 20 years, front of the house, mostly in restaurants. And one thing I would say when, you know, a staff member was like, you know, like overwhelmed or whatever, I would say, you know, you're not saving lives, you're enriching lives, right? And well, now it's kind of the opposite end of that token. We're protecting lives. So we take everything incredibly more seriously. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Even with the hospitality way that we try to, you know, extend ourselves to the guests and to each other as a staff, like we've had to shoo people away because there was too many people out front. And it's crazy to ask people like, hey, I'm so sorry, but there's actually too many people here. You know, like right. We're not talking fire code. We're talking like 5-6 people and they're standing too close to each other. And that's where you get in that little crossroads where some people are like, you know, I don't know. I don't assume what people are thinking, but I can definitely tell you that I've seen a lot of people not wearing masks and gloves, and I'm not passing any judgment on anybody, but, you know, I want to stay safe. My mom is, she's a psychologist, but she's also a LPN nurse, and she works down in New Orleans, and, you know, she's seen it firsthand, and she's seen a lot of people pass away, unfortunately. And my sister-in-law is a registered nurse here in Grady Hospital, and she's seen the same thing, you know. So it's not a hoax. It's not a joke. It's real. It's not good. And, you know, I'm not saying that needs to halt all the things that you know and love, but for me, it means that we have to kind of alter how we proceed to get those things and do those things. And, you know, changes things for sure. Like I said, you know, being a father of 3 with my oldest, almost 13 little girl, and then the middle one is 11 in a few months, and then the youngest is 3. So, you know, this time of year, we'd have been on the road heading to, you know, the beach or North Carolina to hang out with some family, and it's just like we're not doing those things. And, you know, that's such a small part of it. You know what I mean? That's the selfishness of like, oh man, this is crazy. We don't get to do those things. It's like, you know what? There are so much bigger issues out there that this is causing. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't have any answers, but I like to listen to the people that I think are the smartest, and those are usually scientists and doctors, not politicians. But I guess we don't we don't need to throw any shade on those people. I don't want to make anybody mad.
We're all trying to figure this out. That's what's so hard. People are getting very frustrated with one another, and it's tough. What I've been really impressed with in the local beer industry is I'm getting to know you guys pretty well, and you know, there's a lot of crossover between the soccer community and especially, you know, like Atlanta United supporters and how it has that family atmosphere. You guys create the same thing, not just with your customers, but with your staffs. How hard has it been to take care of your staff during this time?
I mean, you know, it's different because you don't see as many of their faces. When we first decided to close, this story's already been told. I apologize if you've heard it, but we closed on March 15th, and then Tuesday, March 17th, St. Patty's Day, we actually opened as a soup kitchen. And so our thought was, you know, we just basically had to let our staff go, but we wanted to, we literally just finished our menu. Like, we made a complete menu revamp. So we had all this like proteins and produce and all that stuff. And so we're like, let's give it to the staff. And then, like I said, that kind of changed and became a soup kitchen. And we did that for a while. We gave staff food that, every single day. And we saw more of them then, for sure. But yeah, they're definitely a family. When you're a young person, some of their staff are between, 22 and 28 years old. You spend probably more time with your work family than you do with your own family,
Mm-hmm.
So not having that camaraderie is tough for sure. I don't know. They're still here though. We made sure we've had an open line of communication. My partner Ryan Skinner and our GM Kevin Pearson send emails and talk with these guys as much as they can to make sure that they know they're, we still have their back. And we did this GoFundMe, and our regulars and people who heard about our story donated, nearly $20,000 to our staff. And, it's just any way we can yeah, it was pretty great. I mean, we hit 10 grand in like one day, and that was our original goal. And we were like, well, this is only going to be a little bit of money for them. Let's just up it and see what happens. And then I think the final number was around 19 grand, 18, 19, somewhere in there. But that just shows you the generosity of people. And, I've kind of said that, when you start doing like charitable stuff, it's kind of contagious. Like doing good feels good, Yeah. And so any way we can help out, whether it's giving food to charities or people who are in need, we want to do it, because I don't know, it just feels right. And, we made this beer, this maltster called Riverbend. They're out of Asheville, North Carolina. The owner, Brent Manning, reached out via email, and he was like, hey man, I've been seeing some of the stuff you guys are doing. I'd love to donate some malt if you want to put together a beer for charity. And I was like, absolutely. And so then we called on some other purveyors, White Lab for yeast, and then Yakima Chief for the hops, and even my can supplier, Battle and Associates. And the charity we landed on was called Bottle Share. And so it's similar to the Giving Kitchen. Bottle Share basically helps out service folks in the brewery side, if they're out of work or whatnot, like pay their bills and stuff like that. So the beer is almost ready. We called it 6 Feet Never Felt So Far, which is something I think we can all kind of relate to right now.
Yeah.
And my designer, Rachel Eleanor, she's done all our cans. She's amazing. She donated her artwork as well. But we should be canning that, I'm hoping, next week. And then all the proceeds go directly to Bottle Share, which then goes to brewery workers in need, which is it's great. Anything we can do. And then I heard today that another restaurateur here in Atlanta from Hop City is wanting to do some charity stuff. So he's going to reach out to us as well. And, anything we can do to like help out. And, I don't know. Like I said, doing good feels good. So we're just going to keep doing it.
That's awesome. So definitely let us know when that becomes available for sale. We want to spread the word on that and let people know how they can come support you guys supporting others. Give us a little bit of the story of how Good Word came together, and people who are maybe hearing about you for the first time and want to make the trip up to buy some beer, buy some food from you. Sell a little bit. Tell us how everything came together.
So my partner Ryan Skinner and I worked at a place called Brickstore Pub down in Decatur. They've been around since '97. I started there in 2005, and Ryan started. It was maybe 2012, 13, somewhere in there. I forget. But anyway, he and I have been working together for a few years. And, sitting in the office one day, I rolled my chair back and I'd already had been kicking around some concepts to my wife, trying to figure out what my next move was going to be, because even though I love being there, it was just time to do my own thing. I'd been there 10 years at that point. But anyway, I rolled my chair back and I was like, hey, Ryan, what else do you want to do? And he's like, what do you got in mind? And so we started talking then. And our first idea was, do what we had learned at Brickstore and just create a beer bar somewhere outside of that area, just to kind of expose people to craft beer. But we started homebrewing at that point, and I don't know, I kind of got the bug with that, you know what I mean? It kind of bit me, and I would work, at Brickstore 5 days a week. I'd either come home after a day shift around 5:30, and I would mash into my little homebrew kit, and I'd work until about 1 a.m. making beer, and or do it on the weekend. But I ended up brewing about 2-3 times a week home brewing. And I don't know. For me, it was kind of an extension of cooking. And
Right.
I don't know. Every time I've made a meal for somebody, it's kind of like an extension of my hospitality and my nature. It's kind of how I grew up. My grandmother was that same way. Everybody would kind of surround themselves at her house, and you were just in good company. And anyway, so the homebrewing thing got pretty serious, and I would go to local breweries, and I would brew in their pilot systems or do collab beers there. I mean, being at a place like Brickstore, we had a lot of great relationships, and I've tried to maintain those even now. But anyway, so we got serious about it. We got ourselves a business plan, and then we reached out to the guys at Brickstore, the three owners there, and our partner Andrew Case, and we decided we were going to open a brew pub. And then it was, where do we put it? And we looked around inside the perimeter for a while. I mean, it took us about a year and change to find this building out here. We actually looked in Duluth when half of the square was kind of torn down, and it was like basically mud on the ground. We came out and looked, and I was like, I don't know, man. I was still living in town at the time, and I wasn't feeling it. I just couldn't see it. It was hard for me to envision it. And then, Ryan was already living out here. Like I said, I was living in town in Decatur, and he was like, come out to this concert. And it was a driving and crying concert, and so I convinced my wife to come out here, and she's pregnant at the time. And he was up here with his wife, and man, there was, I don't know, 9,000 people. Hard to imagine a crowd of that size these days, but it was a great show. I saw there was definitely a community that was ready for what we thought Good Word was going to be. And then we signed a lease. Actually, what was funny is I spent 6 or 7 Sundays in a row with my 2 girls then and my pregnant wife and a realtor looking for a house in this area in Gwinnett County for a long, long time. It was like literally 3-4 hours a day. My wife was like not loving it. But we bought our house about a month before we signed the lease out here on this building. And my partners were like, man, you're crazy. What if this doesn't work out? What if the building falls through? All this kind of stuff. And I was like, nah, man, it's going to happen. And so, of course, it did. And so that was November 28th in 2017. And yeah, we've grown a lot. We've changed a lot. And I don't know, I think we've gotten pretty good at the things we do. Now we just have to reimagine how we do those things and still do them very well.
Yeah, that's the challenge, is what that new normal seems to be the phrase that we're all using these days. Figuring out what that looks like and figuring out how we kind of all reinvent ourselves. For people who are hearing about you in Duluth, how can they follow you guys and keep up with everything going on?
Yeah, like most places, we've got our at Good Word Brewing social media handle for Instagram, and then Facebook, of course, Twitter. We do that one as well, and TikTok. Actually, I do like I said, I'm the brewer, and I also do our social media. So put up a lot of silly posts. Sometimes I spend too much time filming and editing silly little videos, but I don't know. It's been fun. We actually got invited to the Craft Brewers Conference last year to be part of the social media panel. I mean, we kind of look at social media in a different. Yeah, it was cool. Just in like a different way. I try to be like, as engaging, whether it be contests or, like I said, video content or just whatever. Just trying to make sure people know that we're here and we've got our own little personality and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, it's only beer, right? And so
this is true.
Trying not to take ourselves too seriously, but yeah, it's fun.
Awesome. Well, Todd, we will be coming out to see you guys and talking soccer at Good Word here when we can. Hopefully by the end of the year, but man, we're just taking it all one day at a time. But for people who are interested in coming up and picking up some beer, picking up some food, what are the days, times they can do that?
So currently we are open Wednesday through Sunday, and we do beer basically from noon until we close at 8. But food is available after 4. And again, this kind of stuff, like I think everybody right now is like, we don't know where we're going to land on all this kind of stuff, because previously we were only closed on Monday and then we were open every other day. But I don't know. Again, I would say, follow us on social media to kind of find out what we're up to. If we do have the MLS, we do show Atlanta United games here as well when that's going on too. So, yeah.
Excellent. There are lots of supporters up that way, so I'm sure that's been something you guys have been missing here in the season that we're all missing right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have some games to talk about. Even if there's nobody in the stands, we'll have some games to discuss and maybe a place to grab a beer with you guys up in Duluth. So, Todd, thanks for the time. Appreciate it so much, and we'll be talking soon.
Thank you very much for having me.